Hi, I'm Katherine Schreiber with Broadway and Beyond TV, and I am so excited about having the mega talented Brandon Victor Dixon here with us. So I am going to let him in from the waiting room. Okay, Brandon, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you, Catherine?
Good, you look wonderful. I noticed your t-shirt. I'm going to say something about that later on, and that is actually why I am so excited to talk to you today because as we know, these are very, very difficult times in theater and the arts, and I am so impressed and happy about what you're doing to support this. So, but before we begin there, I just want to brag a little bit about you. I know you can't brag yourself, so I'm just going to say about this amazingly talented man. He was gorgeous as Aaron Burr in Hamilton on Broadway. You received an Emmy nom for your role of Judas opposite John Legend in Jesus Christ Superstar on TV. And you also, which is the most near and dear to my heart, you originated the role of Hayward Patterson in Scottsboro Boys at the Vineyard by the legendary Cameron Ebb, directed by Susan Stroman, booked by David Thompson. I had the great honor of bringing this to London after it closed on Broadway, and then the greater honor of having you recreate the role so magnificently of Hayward Patterson in the West End. So how would you explain the importance of playing that character to you, a man who says, ultimately, you can't do me no more?
I've been very fortunate, kind of as you enumerated, Catherine, to be part of some really special creative processes. I can legitimately say I've probably been a part of maybe three masterpieces in my career, and Scottsboro Boys is definitively one of them. And I will say that it had an impact on my life. Both from the standpoint of I've always been very drawn to advocacy in general, and I think my choices in my art have naturally reflected that. So, but what it did for me is because the tale of the Scottsboro Boys, because
A
it is
true
a
story, a
true
true story
story.
that one
It
of
is
the
a
tragic
true
events in
story.
history. Yeah.
Right, and just very briefly about nine black youths falsely accused of raping two prostitutes in Scottsboro, Alabama, in 1930. In telling that story, it involves two Supreme Court precedents, that you must be represented by a jury of your peers, that you must have competent counsel. So it
Yeah.
speaks to issues that remain prevalent in our criminal justice system, remain
And it
prevalent
sparked the
in.
civil rights movement.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Influenced many of the leaders of the civil rights movement, such as Rosa Parks, who
Right.
became a great
And she
pioneer.
met her husband at her rally there.
Absolutely. And so for me participating in the show, it was both, it gave me an insight into this unique intersection of media, politics, and social justice
Mhm.
in America, into the intersection of communities.
Mhm.
Like the socialist movements, and lawyer Leibowitz, the Jewish lawyer, came down and works to
Yeah.
help the boys. So you have social intersections, you have political intersections, but also you have the power of an artistic piece to communicate a window into history that people don't know very much about. They were just known as the Scottsboro Boys, but we got
Right.
to learn who they were. We got to learn
Right.
about Haywood and Clarence and Ozzy, and we got to kind of unpack this. We got to really create a very searing example of how art transcends, how art creates conversations, and how art bridges gaps between
Yes.
communities.
Yes. And I actually, people come right to me and say that they came into the show as one person and left as another. And that is actually, in terms of how it connects communities, is a perfect lead into what you are doing now with We Are. By the way, I became an ambassador last night.
Oh,
Uh,
welcome.
I am so impressed. So, would you please share the message? Tell us why you're doing this. Tell us the importance of this. Tell everybody how they can join up. And maybe you can sing a little bit of the theme song. I love the song you did.
Absolutely. So, we created the We Are Foundation to use the connective power of the arts that we're talking about, to bridge the gaps between communities. And we do this by providing access and amplifying voices that emphasize our shared humanity. Because as we talked about, art transcends difference. Our art can communicate relations between people that are harder to articulate in just words alone. And this year, we've really been focused on our We Are the Vote initiative and working specifically on galvanizing voters in Michigan, working in places like Detroit and in Flint. And so, if you wanna be involved in helping us support voter efforts like the wonderful Catherine Schreiber here, you can go to weare.org and you can sign up to become an ambassador, which means that we will start communicating with you to participate in our actions as we deploy them in September and October leading up to the election.
You can donate.
Yes, absolutely. You can donate as well to the organization at weare.org to support our registration and activation efforts. And but yeah, that's what we're out here doing. And I encourage you, even if you don't engage with us, please engage with somebody, because making your voice heard and making sure that other people's voices get to be heard are of crucial importance, particularly right now in this electoral cycle.
And as an artist, you are using your skills, and I mentioned the song you did for it, but I mean, that's a beautiful, moving song, and that song, the power of music, can get people to say, I want to be a part of this. So I encourage everyone to go to the site and read about the mission, read about how you can be involved, join up, become an ambassador. I don't know what you have to do to get your picture on there. I mean, I'm sure they'll tell you how you can get yourself to have I don't know if it's possible, but to have a card up there and saying, I am an ambassador.
Featured as an ambassador, absolutely. We can, that is a possibility.
So join Brandon and others to do that.
And then our ambassador team will reach out to you.
Yes. And then the other thing, just briefly, because we have to go soon, is besides, you started this company with Warren Adams, the Motown choreographer, in 2013, I believe, called Walk, Run, Fly.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, something else to encourage youth. I mean, besides that you become a theater producer and won a Tony for Hedwig, but talk a little bit about what that's doing for youth and for the goal of that.
Well, my as you mentioned, my partner Warren Adams and we started a production company called Walk, Run, Fly. And, upon the basis of the fact that we've been able to create shows and walk into rooms and circles that many of our colleagues have not. And so as we step into spaces, we work to create platforms for some of our, very talented colleagues to step into as well. And we work to create work that that widens the aperture, whereby we see communities and whereby we see creators and storytelling. And so, we did that really so that we could take ownership, not only of the work that we create. This relationship formed during Motown, the musical, a show in which we were both very firmly embedded in the creative process. And having gone through that, we realized we were ready to take ownership
of the
creative process.
And you've got some shows.
You create. Absolutely.
You've got shows in development. All right. Well, we have to go. I hope you will come back, but either I will read this or actually you should say it. I love your mission statement, Brandon, on your website. So if you don't know it by heart, I will say it, but maybe you do.
By all means, please.
Well, this is what Brandon wrote. As an artist, I've always wanted to inspire people, not to act or sing necessarily, but to reach for that which is greater than themselves. Because succeed or fail, the beauty is in the endeavor. I mean, Brandon, you're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate
all right.
that.
So thank you. I adore you. Thank you for your gift to Scottsboro Boys. That will ever remain in my heart. And
thank you for your gift to Scottsboro Boys.
Love you. Bye.
Take care.
Take care.